It's time for another Gather Up Gotchard. Our heroes are on the back foot. Just how are they going to start fighting back? First things first, they're going to do is start organizing themselves. And it's happy, delightful chaos. They are trying to just make their new headquarters in the corner of the restaurant, but the restaurant has to open and Hotaro has to start serving people, and it's just wild and dumb and silly fun sitcom nonsense. And Rene is just kind of very out of it, very concerned of a variety of things. While the villains, they're plotting and scheming, and one of the little doll homunculi things wakes up and goes like, "Hey, I'm going to be your monster this week." And Grayon's like, "All right, cool," and turns him into Cerberus, and gives a little pan flute to the little one. I can't remember her name right now. What is her name? It'll come to me eventually. So it's like, "All right, this is what you can do to control it. Go fucking cause chaos. Do bad guy things." Right? As Professor Minato comes up to Rine and says, "Hey, you follow alchemy laws. Alchemy laws say we're bad guys now. So, bad guy?" And Rine's like, the fuck, dude?" And Hotaro shows up and goes like, "Hey, Rine, I'm here to fucking help you." And Minato's like, "Alright, okay, whatever." They have a little fight as Dread and Gotchard. Minato's like, "All right, cool. I'm not gonna deal with you turning into fire. I ain't paid enough for that. Rine, come to me tomorrow and tell me what your choice. I'm leaving." As Rine and Hotaro have like a little another one of their great heart to hearts. As Hotaro goes like, "Yeah, no, your dad was like badass in the past. He like wasn't brainwashed by Grayon, and he tried to fight him." And it's like, "Oh, my dad was a good guy. He didn't betray anybody. Oh, that makes me feel all the better." Right? Like she finds her resolve, kind of thing. As the Cerberus Amalgam is just attacking people, they go to help fight and deal with it. It separates. It's now 3 monsters. Oh no, how are they going to deal with this? They're trying their hardest to deal with it, and Rine's like, "Okay, I had a suit from the movie. Can I use it? Nope, still can't use it. Okay, this sucks." As the pan flute breaks, the monster's now on the loose, no control, and the Abyssal Sister that was controlling it, I can't remember her name. It's the tiny one. It's the little girl. Also, I have a theory on why, like, it's weird. It'll get to it. It's a little esoteric. Her arm's gold. She's in danger, and Rine's just like, I don't want to see anybody in danger, and it fuels a fire in her, and she's able to finally contact the Kamen Rider powers, and is able to henshin into her form. It's the first time we get to see it, because we don't get to see the movie yet. Shame on us for living in America. And we have a cool big fight with everybody. We have Hotaro as X-Rex, because the fire power-up got overheated, and his buddies were like, "Oh shit, we'll cool it down." It's cooled down. He uses it, knocks out a couple of the heads that split off from Cerberus. They fly back to the one that's fighting Rine, and now it's a full-powered version of the creature, and Rine uses the full powers and Rider kicks the monster to death. As Spanner and his boss have been having a little mini subplot this episode, and she goes like, "Oh, hey, we could just steal their shit and make our things better." And Spanner's not even there. He's like, "Nah, we're not doing that. Bye. We're not doing that. They're too good. I appreciate you, Spanner. I hope that's what you're doing, Spanner, and I'm not being made a fool of." We have a creepy moment with Grayon and the little and the Abyssal Sister of like, "Hey, your arm was golden, but it's not, and you're all healed. That's good." And just stroking her arm. That's weird, kind of weird and creepy. Minato and Rine have their confrontation, and she goes like, "You know what? I'm gonna follow the rules of alchemy, not your stupid laws." And he's like, "All right, you're gonna die, bitch. Alright, cool. Fuck. As we have a final moment with Rine kind of like solidifying her resolve of like, I'll make my own rules. I'll make my own alchemy academy with blackjack and hookers. And just not following, and like learning to choose for herself what she wants, you know? This was an amazing episode. I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. I love all the focus Rene got. It really fleshed out her character some, and really fleshed out the idea of like, what is her big conflict of like, what is right and wrong? Is it laws that make something just, or is it the moral code you're following? And she kind of solidifies on making a path for herself. Part of me likes that it's happening now. You know, it's fine. We've had a lot of moments with the character, and it's fine that it's happening now. Part of me also wished that it happened earlier, so we could get more time with the character as a writer. Hotaro helped her get to the place, but is not there just giving her character growth. It's very much like, hey, this is your story right now. I'm a side dude, you know? It works, it fits. The whole crew is great. I love their whole dynamic. It's fun. I posted in my Discord server the other day that one of the things I really like about Gotchard is that they all feel like teenage goobers that like they're trying to save the world and they're working in their homemade base while one of them is working at their part-time job. Like it's like, oh geez, it's fun. I love the Cerberus design. I love a lot of the amalgams. A lot of the amalgams have been really, really good. Just sometimes I wish that like they had better pants. Like the bottom halves of the designs leave a little something to be desired, you know. A little few things I noticed. One thing, I think it's interesting how they have one of the Amalgam sisters be a little girl. Like, she is the oldest sister, but she is played by a little girl being saved by what is essentially the first female secondary writer. You know, I think that was a purposeful idea when they got to this episode. It was like, oh, wait a second, we have a little girl who could look up and be saved. Oh, that could be cool. And she could use that moment to be like, hey, I'm going to save everybody kind of thing. It works. It's good. It's good. Little visual symbolism and things like that. But there's also another element I noticed, specifically with Rine, Spanner, and Hotaro. Each of their main Kamen Rider forms kind of feel like a take on alchemy. Rine has like mystic symbols and unicorn and stuff like that, so it feels very magic. It feels very mystic inspired. Also, she has the ring and she touches it on top of the driver. It feels a little bit like a callback to Wizard. Not saying it is a callback to Wizard, it just feels a little bit like, oh hey, that's a little wizardy. You know, Spanner is very much on the science and industry idea of alchemy, of like, part of alchemy eventually led to the creation of chemistry and all that kind of stuff, so it being rooted in science and technology kind of fits. And Hotaro is very much like about the natural world. Like, it's animals, it's plants, it's the base ideas that humans make, right? It's that kind of, it's not something higher or abstract. It's grasshoppers and trains. It's very material, Hotaro is. I don't really have an idea of what that could mean, realistically, but it does feel like a somewhat neat detail to have. But overall, good episode. And you know what's also good? Supporting me on other platforms. You could follow me here on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, do all the things. You can follow me on a variety of social media platforms: Blue Sky, Twitter, Discord. You can follow me on twitch.tv/Boingo Rider. All these links are in the description, by the way. And hey, do you like these videos? Well, you're in luck. Every week, exclusively on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, I also have another series going on. It used to be Blast into Blazar. That's finished now. And the next one is Arise Agito. I am going episode by episode and talking about Kamen Rider Agito. So if you're interested in that, head over to my Patreon, little as $1 a month. You can get that. But that is not all. We have some comments. Last time, I changed up the way the comments were done just a little bit. I liked it. Some of you liked it. Some of you didn't. We'll keep experimenting, seeing what to do. But, yeah. First things first, from Leagueish. That could be an interesting idea. It might work. I don't know how you'd work in the mom. It could also devalue like Kimi and human relationship that Hotaro's like very focused on, but it may also not, because then if he's a Kimi and he's befriending all these humans, like there could be something there. Not entirely sure. Greyon being his dad, that might be a thing. That could be a thing. Who knows? Next up, from Mav Station. Yeah, that totally makes sense for Dragon Ball. I've just been rewatching Dragon Ball Z Abridged, so that kind of question of like, why don't you just do the Dragon Balls, the wishes? It's been in my head and it popped through. So yeah, they oftentimes in Dragon Ball they can't wish the villains away because the villains are too strong. It's a fair example, you know. It's fine. Next up, from just some random guy. Yeah, all the Kimis have just odd, weird powers, so it's totally understandable for one of them to just be able to time travel. It can just do that, you know? But I've been thinking with the teacher memory wiped, a real easy way to solve that is just to find that time travel Kimi and use it and go back in time and fix the mind whammies, you know? The one that they use is Back in the Future with Daybreak, but you know, they could find their own version of them, you know? That could be a thing. Next up, from Fish Pop. On the comments thing, Fish Pop, at a certain point, it just feels like... It feels like I'm just blowing hot air, you know? It's like I'm filling space. It's like... It's filler. You know what I mean? It may not be that way, but part of me feels like just reading the comments aloud is a little... It just fills space, you know? But yeah, though, Greyon definitely is very threatening as a bad guy. Very cool, very interesting. I do like the glimpses we saw of Rine's dad. It definitely endures us to him more as a character than just hearing about him from Rine. Also, Fire Gotchard's kick, it's fantastic. I love the way the rocket exhaust like focuses in on like a beam, like Shin Godzilla. You know what I mean? Next up, from Permanently Paper. I don't think making the igniter was pure power of bullshit. It did come out of nowhere, but I think they're trying to focus like a little bit more on the mystic emotion side of things. Like the emotional power of the goggles is what makes the power up, you know? Minato being a student at Greyon could be interesting. Not sure if they've hinted at that in any which way, but him being a double agent could be cool. There's just a lot of ways Minato could or could not be a bad guy. And here's the thing, he could just be a bad guy. That could be a thing. We don't know. We're very much in the weeds and we can't see the horizon on it yet. And Hotaro and Rine being siblings could work. It could be an interesting idea, especially since we haven't seen Hotaro's dad and we haven't seen Rine's mom. There could be something there. Why are they hiding Hotaro's dad so much? If it's meant to be like this big mystery. And again, never apologize for making little mini essays in my comment section. That's what the comments are there for. It's for us to have these kind of discussions and these kind of thought processes, to talk about the show, think about the show, analyze, theorize about plot elements, and think about what it means thematically, what it means storytelling-wise, you know? So never apologize for those kind of things. Next up, from Esconde. Yeah, doing the comments this way takes kind of just about the same amount of time, but instead of like scrubbing through the audio, to find ends of things. I just have to cut some, like, I have very clear breaks in the audio to cut from and to, so it's a little bit easier, you know. And plus, it works out. I like it's fair to edit, you know what I mean. Yeah, changing memories could also, like, reflect how lack of empathy can turn back on you, you know, even if your job was empathetic. Oh, now I remember what I was trying to say. That the teacher ultimately did try to believe in Hotaro's ideal of getting along with Kimmy's, but still the whole mind wipe thing happened. It's just kind of like, oh god, come on, man. And yeah, Daybreak is just totally Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. It's great. I do like how there is a little bit of parallel between Rine's dad and Hotaro with both how they kind of fight with Kimmy's. Rine's dad using them kind of like, as other people have pointed out, like Pokemon, just like team members helping him out, and Hotaro using Kimmy's bouncing back and forth between different forms to fight. I think that's neat. I think that's cool. I think it just kind of also shows of like, hey, the people who are empathetic to Kimmy's can use the Kimmy's much more effectively than those who can't. You know? And the way the powers are explained, it feels less like speed and more like momentum manipulation. More like a Puck from Alpha Flight. And if you aren't unaware of his powers, like, he can bounce and continue momentum and change it and manipulate it. All that kind of stuff. Just a bouncy ball going bouncy bounce. You know? Just holding, and he just winds up like a spring. And next, and finally, from Slime Beast. I love how it's just, don't make a paradox. And then he just makes all the goddamn paradoxes in the fucking world. And yeah, that's actually a really good explanation for why Daybreak stays armored, to avoid making as many paradoxes as he can. Because when you, if you look at the Kimmy card of the time travel guy, the more paradoxes that happen, the more like Hotaro interacts with his younger self, the more exhausted he gets. The more exhausted the Kimmy gets, right? So maybe it's not necessarily don't cause paradoxes, it's, hey, paradoxes drastically reduce the amount of time you can stay in the past. You know? So I think that could be an explanation, a thought behind it. But either way, thank you all for watching this episode of Gateway. Gather up, Gotchard. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you have a good week. Till next time. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters, Esconde,